for another moment. So you used Sora, you made a video of yourself. What were your expectations?
Low.
Oh, well, that's good. At least they were met.
So what's funny is it gave me more bags under my eyes and my voice was very wrong. Like,
Interesting.
and what's really, so I did it video and I said, make me doing a podcast. But when you record from Sora to like set yourself up, I used this background. It grabbed my logo off this back picture for a mug on my desk that I do not have, but in the Sora video I do.
Okay.
It does a little B-roll footage, like cut away to like me pressing some buttons on a podcasty thingy. And it was like, hey guys, Justin Esgar here helping you with business. I was like, what? My wife and I were like, whose voice is this? But what really gets me is like anytime like any system has to do some sort of imagery of me, it's terrible. Like my Apple Vision Pro, I'm not getting all hoity-toity here. When you do the avatar, you hold the thing out like this, and you look around, you do all this stuff. I want you to picture Vin Diesel if he was 70. That's what my avatar face looks like.
Oh no.
I'm like, what did I do wrong? Like, who did I scorn in this world to make it so any AI version or imagery version of me or video version of me looks, I mean, look, I'm not an attractive guy to start with. I get that, but like, don't make it worse. Like, it's annoying.
Wow. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even know how to follow that, Justin.
You don't.
I have no idea how to follow that.
The answer is, don't give your likeness to the AI bots because it won't be like you.
No, it'll make it worse and it'll make you feel worse.
Yeah.
And it'll make you feel like really self-conscious.
If you want to have a depressive episode, go ahead and have AI make a video of you.
Wow.
Weirdly enough, because you can use Sora on the web, and I was playing with it on the web before I used it on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
And the web version doesn't make you like take a video of yourself. On your phone, you're supposed to like look and turn and do this stuff and speak, whatever. But on the web, before I knew there was an app, I said, make a video of me. I thought it knew who I was because ChatGPT knows who I am. And I was like, make a video of me working on a Mac. And it just pulled some random like African-American person out with the virtual logo, screwing a laptop and then just opening it in reverse. Like they took the screws out from the back and then they opened it towards them. Like, and the thing went through, like, there's no physics in AI world.
Right. Yeah. No, there never is.
Doesn't look like me. Doesn't sound like me. No physics whatsoever, but had the virtual look. I was like, this is going in the trash.
Oh, that's so great. Well, hey guys, welcome to our office hours session today. I am pumped to be joined by Justin Esgar, CEO of Virtua Consulting. Justin runs an MSP, okay? Justin also does some consulting for MSPs, but this isn't a sales pitch for like any services, okay? This isn't some sneaky way to sell you what he's doing or what we're doing. I mean, there's always a sneaky way, right? But no, what happened was I reached out to Justin with this crazy idea about a webinar that teaches MSPs how to be more premium like Apple, and he jumped on it like a grenade. So first, at any point when you close the webinar, it should offer you the chance to do a survey. It's like a quick 2-question, how'd we do kind of thing, nothing crazy. If you give us your email on that survey, which we already have, that simply enters you for a chance to win a $250 Amazon gift card. Submitting feedback helps me. It helps my guests like Justin, and you can win a gift card. So our last drawing was just last week. Our next drawing will be January 1st. Good luck with that. And I just realized I did not open up Production Studio. So let me Fix that. Boop. There you go. Now we look right.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I don't know what you did,
next.
but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. So next, Justin and I, we're going to take a little moment to let you get to know us a little better. While we do that, I'm going to throw up a poll because you guys know me. I love my polls. This poll is going to give you guys the opportunity to help us get to know you better. Now, Justin has assured me he's not going to do anything weird or devious with your poll answers. I don't think he's going to call you just because you answered this poll a certain way. Neither are we. We don't put it in HubSpot. It's not automatically added to some database. It's just fun, okay? Because I'm fun. I'm a fun guy, and I like mushrooms. So there's the poll. So Justin, I'll start, okay?
Yeah.
I don't want to give these people the same thing about me every time. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. You guys already know I used to run an MSP, but did you know when I was 6 years old, my dream was not to be an IT consultant extraordinaire. No, my dream was to be an ice cream truck driver. I wanted to have The Entertainer on repeat all day long with that stupid, the stupid bell version, that the ice cream trucks have. I wanted to be slinging ice cream to all the kids. And I'm sure if someone were to psychoanalyze 6-year-old me, they'd say it was some cry for help because I just wanted kids to like me. And I wanted kids to run up to me excited, happy to give me all their parents' hard-earned cash. And that just sounded great. But no, that was my lifelong dream as a boy, but of 6.
I mean, look, you can still do it. No one's stopping you. You know what's funny though is whenever my kids hear the ice cream truck, I always say to them, if you hear them playing the music, it's their way of symbolizing that they're out of ice cream. Because I don't want them. Yeah, I tell them because I don't want to buy them ice cream. So I just always try to get out of it by going if you hear the music, they don't have any ice cream. I learned this long time ago. And so now they go around being like, oh, it's the ice cream truck. Oh, he's got his music on. I guess he doesn't have any ice cream. I'm like, that's right. Let's go back inside.
So I just, my kids never get excited for the ice cream truck. For the longest time, we never lived near, we lived in a neighborhood that just one never came through. So, yeah. So
come to the truck. You're out of luck. We just ran out of ice cream. That's right, Adam.
I love it. I love it. So I'm sorry. That was probably a bit unhinged. How do you even follow that, Justin?
I always, when I was 6, I always wanted to be in technology. Obviously, what we do nowadays wasn't a thing back then. But I looked up to people like Steve Jobs and Bill Gates, and I'm like, I'm going to be smart like them. And then I started taking tests at school and I wasn't. And so, so now I follow suit with, offering the support, which is what, MSPs do. But I've always been an entrepreneur first and a technologist second, right? So for me, I really loved building things, which is why as we get into the conversation today, and for the people who don't know me, you'll learn about the things that I've done beyond just my MSP that are all related to Virtua and why there's Virtua Consulting Group and Virtua Computers underneath. So they're all related to it and they all kind of work together, what I call the hub and spoke. But I'm just generally I really love building businesses and helping people build businesses. And so it's a little different for me.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you for that. And thank you everyone for your participation. That was fun. I see everyone here is an MSP. We've got one who's actually Apple focused. We've got a few who support clients who also happen to have Apple devices. And one guy said, ew, Apple.
Mm-hmm. We'll fix that before the end of this call.
Yeah. For challenges, competing on price, retaining clients, reducing churn, scaling service delivery without adding headcount, communicating value in plain language, streamlining billing and back office operations. That's my sneaky sales one. So the other four are things that I'm sure you definitely could speak to. The billing and back office thing you might be able to speak to as well. And we can talk about that too. On a
So
scale
full transparency, right? We use alternative payment.
yes, and to clarify, that's not what I meant. I was going to say there might be like a premium thing you're doing there too. We'll figure it out. So, and then on a scale of 1 through 5, how premium do you think your services are? And this is very weird. It's not actually telling me the numbers. So I can't tell if everyone gave me 1 through 3s or 3 through 5s. It's very confusing.
That is weird. Yeah. I'm assuming the bottom would be 0. So, because who's going to put themselves down as not premium? So I'm going to say one person said very premium. 2 people. Why didn't Zoom just decide to move that window?
Sorry. I'm sharing it with everybody now.
Okay. Yeah. 2 people. I'm going to assume one person said premium, 2 people said 4, and 1 person said 3. I'm just going to make an assumption. And if I'm wrong, whatever.
Let's hope for the best.
Yeah.
And then how consistent is your client intake? Highly structured and repeatable. Only one of them is highly structured and repeatable. Everyone else is like somewhat consistent, room for improvement, informal, varies. So that's something we can help with. And which best describes your pricing model today? Everyone said either mix of approaches or fixed price agreements. Nothing is value-based. Nothing's hourly time and materials. And then, so that's who we have here today. So that's cool. Well, look, this is a small group. Okay. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. There's only a few of you here, but that's okay. That just means the few of you that are here will get the most value out of this session. We're going to do this interview style, which means you guys get to participate as much as you want. Do you have a question? Do you want to dig deeper into something we're already talking about? Feel free to toss it into the chat. Or even if you just want to, comment, troll, shit post, whatever. Toss all of it into the chat. We're here for it. All right, guys?
We take it. We're professionals. We've done this before.
Yeah. So Justin, I got to say, right now I'm in a weird place. I think of Apple.
Boise, Idaho?
No, Norton, Ohio. No, so I think of Apple very strangely.
Yeah.
Okay. I've been a huge fan of Apple products for nearly 20 years. I started using it in 2006 is when I started using Apple as my primary type of device for various things. But right now with all the different OS 26 variants that are out there, it's rough. It's really rough. I don't know if you're experiencing that.
I don't think it's as bad as you think. The 26
just for me, it's just rough for me.
That's fair. The 26 thing was kind of a. It took all of us a hot minute to like get around that, and I think as Apple, we were. By the way, just for the record, for everyone who knows who's paying attention, up until 2 weeks ago, we were called Apple Consultants. Now we're called Apple Technical Partners or Apple Premium Technical Partners. So I'm going to use those interchangeably through this interview.
Mostly because he's going to forget.
Yeah, mainly. But the Apple consultancy world is very small, right? In terms of MSPs, right. There's 40,000 MSPs in the United States. There's 350 registered Apple consultants in the United States. So we're all kind of like a tight knit group. And we all kind of know one another. So when the news came out about 26, we were all like, we kind of saw the writing on the wall about this. It was just a matter of like how Apple was going to implement it. The changes they were making to Mac OS to make it more like iOS, the naming thing, system preferences became system settings, and on your phone it's just called settings. Like these mergers of ideas kind of just all came to a head with 26. And it's an interesting thing because we have to figure out the right like way to talk about all those OSs, right? Because there's Mac OS 26, there's iPhone OS 20 or iOS 26, iPad OS 26, TV OS 26, Watch OS 26, Vision OS 26, yeah. Right? So like I think from a mouthfeel, it's annoying to say it all. So we just say the 26s. But they're all still so they're similar, same but different. The way my favorite TikTokers say.
No, that's my favorite movie quote, man. Same but different.
Same but different. Yeah, like it's one of those things where they all. I think what Apple's trying to do is get you to love all pieces of their ecosystem, right? If you have an iPhone and you're using iOS 26, it's going to be an easy transition for you to go and now have a Mac running Mac 26. And
well, let me dig in a little more, because
sure.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying. What's it called? Liquid glass.
Yep.
Love it.
Yeah.
All of the visual changes they've made, love them. What I'm not loving is the instability that has been introduced because of all the bugs that still haven't been caught.
Yeah.
That's my frustration right now. And I know it'll get fixed. Okay. I'm still bullish on Apple, but I also right now am feeling stuck and trapped. Like, my whole family, we have Apple phones, Apple watches, iPads, Apple TVs on all the TVs. I use Apple Computer for work. I would have a Vision Pro. However, because my neck doesn't move, it just didn't work out at the time. I'm hopeful that a future model will be more accessible for me.
Yeah.
I've got my watch, so we're all in. I use an Apple card for my day-to-day spending. Like, I couldn't leave Apple if I wanted to, Justin.
Yeah, they've gotten you. The claws are in.
I'm trapped, man.
The bug thing, you're right. The bug, I mean, I know where you're going with this, right? The bug thing is understandable, but like, it's not any better in Windows, right? That's why they have like Patch Tuesdays every Tuesday. But like, there's plenty wrong with the OSs. I'm not gonna, luckily I don't work there, so I don't have to take blame for any of this stuff. My job is just to support the people who have updated. This is also why, as an MSP, it's our job to ensure that the devices we have under management don't update to 26. So like, in my entire fleet of devices that I'm managing, I'm going to say 6 devices somehow or other slipped into 26, right? Out of 1,000. So that's not bad, right?
Right.
We're holding we've always established the like either December or the 0.2 release, whichever comes first. Because by the 0.2 release, which usually comes out by December, a lot of those things have fixed, right? I think 2601 just dropped earlier last week or whatever.
I'm already running 26.1 beta 2. So
yeah,
I'm
so
that
like,
guy.
You're that guy. But for clients, we're like,
sure,
if you're on 26, you're now on 2601. But we hold it back on purpose. You're not wrong though. Like, but no company is going to get all of it in one move. I think the problem is there's so many edge cases, and much like in our MSP practices where we try to build for everyone, someone on my team always goes, yeah, but there's this guy or that person, that girl. And I'm like, yeah, but we can't build for them. They're edge cases. And the next thing you know, we have 75 edge cases. And I'm like, okay, well then our centralized product does not work, kind of thing. So it's just one of those kind of scenarios that we all have to deal with. I do hear about bugs often. I haven't seen anything really happen. My laptop, which is not my daily driver, but like since upgrading to 26, if it's closed, when I open it back up, it doesn't wake up. But when I got it to 2601, it's fine. Okay, something to deal with. It's not like I don't know how to fix it. The cobbler has no shoes, right? Like, it's not like something I didn't know how to fix. So,
right. So, why did you choose to focus your MSP on Apple products instead of Windows? Did you immediately see this as a money-making opportunity because Apple is premium, or did you think it was an underserved market?
I was always an Apple fanboy, like growing up. My quick history is like when I was in 5th grade, we had Apple Classics. In 6th grade, we had Apple LC2s. I got one when I was in 7th grade, and then I had like a clone in high school when it wasn't Jobs, it was Pepsi Boy. I forget who his name is. Oh, Scully, who like allowed them to do clones. So I had a clone. Well, it was only when I got to college that I switched to PC for a long time. And I was a PC person for probably 5 or 6 years. And then when I got out of college, at the time, it's so funny because I was talking about this the other day. I was like, when I got out of college in 2002, I used to tell people it was the worst economy this country had seen in 30 years. But like since 2002 to now, we have seen so many worse economies than 2002. And I was a web developer at the end of the day, and I had gone away. My sister, who had a Mac, called an IT support company in Manhattan, and I just came home and I called them and I was like, "Hey, you looking for work? You looking for someone to work?" And they were like, "Well, we're firing somebody at the end of the week." And I was like, "That should have been a red flag." But I went and I interviewed, and I got the job, and I just stayed with it. I've always liked what Apple does between the ideal mix of hardware plus software to make the product better. I liked the security focused components that Apple has always had that we talk about a lot more nowadays. And it was just like, I don't know, it just seemed more fun and different. And I like that over PCs. I'm not saying PCs are bad, right? Like in my opinion, truthfully, in my opinion, especially at this age, I don't care if you use a PC or a Mac. Like everyone's looking at the same crap on the internet.
Yeah.
Like, there's only so many websites
You probably
you can
get
go
away
to.
with a Chromebook these days.
Yeah, my kids use a Chromebook. If it wasn't managed, it'd be like the Wild West, right? Like
I really wish my kids could have used iPads instead for school, but that's neither here nor there.
that's not going to happen, especially when Chromebooks are $1.50.
Right, right. So, originally I wanted to ask you the question, do you think you charge more or less than Windows MSPs? But I think I need to change this question because that feels like such a loaded question.
I have a good story about that, though, if you want.
Well, so I might want it, but I want to change the question because, obviously Apple computers don't need antivirus. So,
Like an understatement.
Here we go. So do you think that your MSP gets to charge a premium for your services? And do you think or speculate that you are maybe more profitable than Windows MSPs in your area?
Okay. Still a loaded question.
Sure.
I don't think that because I'm an Apple MSP specifically that I get to charge more. I think what allows me to charge more is that there are less Apple MSPs. So the commoditization of what we do is way lower than in the Windows world. Excuse me. I'll tell you this quick story real quick because it relates to all of this. Back in 2010, 2011, I went to a BNI meeting. I was a guest at a BNI meeting. And if anyone who doesn't know, BNI is this networking group. You get to go, you get a 30-second pitch, you do a 30-second elevator pitch, and then usually there's one person from the group who's doing a presentation for 30 minutes. That way everybody gets to learn what their business is. And the idea is that you trade referrals. Cool. I am guesting at this event, and I happen to be there the day that the Windows MSP guy is doing his presentation. And he's talking about his stuff and what he does and all these things. And I'm like, yeah, we do the same thing, blah, 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 whatever. And then he finally talks about pricing. And he's like, we charge the best pricing ever. And he goes, Justin, how much do you charge? And I was like, at the time, I was like, I don't know, $100 a computer. He's like, $100? That's crazy. We're $34 a computer, unlimited service. And I walked out, and then I emailed the VP being like, that guy's a a-hole. And he's probably out of business. But like, he was doing a shot to the bottom for the price because there are so many PC MSPs. And I talk about this a lot. It's not about what they do. It's about their being different, right? They need to have a differential between them. There are too many Windows MSPs that shoot for the bottom because of the commoditization, because they're doing all the same stuff. You see it in the vendor world also, right? I went to an event that was supposed to be a business event. There were only 2 speakers and the rest were all sponsors. And every sponsor who got up on stage was like, I'm going to help you with your Office 365 security. And I was like, how many of you can there possibly be that's going to help me with my Office 365 security? And they're all like, how do I explain this? There's a story about two pizza places in Manhattan that were across the street from one another. And one of them was like $1.25. And the one across the street was like $1. And the other one was like 75 cents. And the other one was like 65 cents. And now they're both out of business, right? Like that's what it is. So I think what separates us is one, there are less Apple consultants that focus on the magic of what is Apple. And two, having a niche. Apple is part of our niche. It's not the entire niche, but having a niche allows us to offer premium services at a premium price. And Windows MSPs can emulate that. They 100% can. They just have to figure out what that niche is.
So, you know, a lot of times when people, and I mean like everyday people, maybe not entrepreneurs, okay? When people think about Apple, they often think about, you know, the design, the marketing, the simplicity, the sleekness, right?
Yeah.
But behind the scenes, Apple's service model is just as intentional as their design and their marketing, right?
Yeah,
so that when I think about that, I think they're building an experience. They're not just selling laptops. They're not just selling watches and phones. They're selling you I mean, we call it an ecosystem because as IT people, we all know better, right? But they're selling people an experience. So how can we tech guys turn MSP into an experience?
That's good.
And I think we need to asterisk your MSP already has an experience. It's just a matter of, is it good or not? Right. So how do we improve the current experience? What would you say you've learned that needs to happen every time?
I recently read, and I've been talking about this a lot. If you've seen anything that I've been on in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, including my own podcast, I've talked a lot about Unreasonable Hospitality, a book by Will Guidara, and it's a story about 11 Madison Park. It's this famous restaurant in Manhattan, and it talks about how they go above and beyond with every customer who walked in the door. Now, anyone who's watched The Bear on FX, it's partially based on 11 Madison Park, so there's a lot being in there, being broken up into storylines. But read this book, because when I read this book, it was very obvious to me what can be done in an MSP industry. I mean, it is written in restaurant language, but it's so easy to translate it out. And so to provide that experience, it goes beyond crushing tickets, billing for the machines, or doing patches. It goes into the human element that I find a lot of MSPs, especially the ones that are lower price point, to bring it back to the last question, don't do. Because one of the things that a premium MSP charges for is access to the premium people, access to the people who are friendly and nice and do all these things and go above and beyond. It's like an unwritten thing. So if you can offer a premium experience to a customer versus like, you remember that SNL bit with Jimmy, I think it was Jimmy Fallon was the IT guy, and he would be like, move, and he would like kick the guy out of the way and like work on the computer, right? Like,
yeah,
that's a non-premium experience. If you can offer a premium experience, you can 100% charge a premium price, but you have to go, I think, above and beyond for the customers, beyond, hey, it's patch Monday time. Don't forget to turn off your computer at the end of the day. Thanks. Like, it's got to go above that. I'll tell you one thing we do, and I don't care if people steal this because I stole this from Peter Shankman. Every time an employee at a client has a baby, we send them a onesie that says, I don't spill milk. I don't cry when I spill milk. I call virtual computers, and we send them like a little baby onesie. It's a small little nothing. It costs us $20, $25. We printed it ourselves on, Threadless or Cafe Press or whatever. And the amount of resounding, like, feedback from that. Like this is a true story. My guy Luke was at a client where someone in the office had a baby. They took a picture of the baby wearing the onesie and sent to the office while Luke was there. And he heard someone else in the office be like, "Oh, I want to have a baby so I can get a virtual onesie." And he's like, "That's not how this works." Like at all. But it's just one of those things, right? It's those little touches, and you learn about that, especially from this Unreasonable Hospitality book, which I think everyone should read. It's about giving them a premium experience, right? Think about the Apple Store. You walk into the Apple Store. We learned about this at this Apple event the other week, that like the curves on the tables were purposely designed by someone. They're called squirtles, I think. Squiggles. Adam Rice will correct me because I know he knows the answer to this. And it's one of those things where like they think about everything. They think about the holistic. It's not just the here and now. What's wrong with this one person in this one ticket? I'm going to solve this thing and I'm going to move on with my day. If you don't, as an MSP, end your day, as like an MSP owner, if you don't at the end of the day worry about your customers, and I don't mean worry like they're going to leave you. I mean like worry about like, I heard my customers in the hospital and I hope they're okay. I'm worried that one of my customers is getting is making the wrong business decision. I'm worried that a customer has an employee who I think is doing something wrong. Like, if you don't think about your customers on a regular basis like that, going beyond the like, oh, Joan didn't know how to print today. Haha, silly Joan. You're not doing premium service. And so that's what it's about. Giving premium experience nets you premium pricing. There's a long-winded answer. I'm giving a lot of long-winded answers. Give me some like lightning round questions. I'll do yes and no's.
Okay. Do you use shampoo?
Yes. That's an unfair question.
All right. So, would you say that you have been intentional, maybe not down to the curve radius on table edges, but would you say that you have been intentional with every aspect of your service at Virtual? And I'm thinking of everything from like prospecting, sales, closing the deal, onboarding, everyday service delivery, invoicing, QBRs, projects. Like there's a lot of like big picture functions that MSPs needs to do when it comes to keeping their clients happy, right? And I'm sure like that was not an exhaustive list. It's just what I could come up with in 90 seconds, right? So like, okay, let's just start at the top. Prospecting. Do you do anything like different, intentional, special with prospecting?
No, I don't. Actually, prospecting is a tough one for me personally. For Apple consultants or Apple Premium or Apple technical partners, we have the advantage of being with Apple and being in a program that if you have Macs and you're in a business, you can call Apple. Apple will kick you to this website, and then you can search that website for your zip code, and you'll find consultants in your area. So prospecting has always been a tough thing for me, and I think it should be tough for everybody. I'm friends with some of the MSP marketing companies out there. I'll just put it that way. I'm not gonna say who. But even though I'm friends with some of them, like in my opinion, like a lot of them are snake oil, right? Because like the amount of people I get hit up on LinkedIn who are like, "Hey, you run an MSP? I'm going to call 50,000 leads for you and close 6 deals in, 6 months." And I'm like, bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, so prospecting has always been a tough thing. There are ways of doing it correctly. There is having a process. There is, keeping track of all that stuff. But sometimes it's not the forte of whoever it is that's working on it, right? Like that's not my forte. Closing a deal in sales, that's my forte. I can do really well with that. The prospecting thing, I'm not that great at. And I'll be honest with it. I talk about this publicly all the time that I'm not great with it. Everything else though in our business, one of the big things we learn about is one of the things that people goal to really as an MSP or any entrepreneur is to stop working in the business, work on the business, right? Stop answering the help desk tickets so you can then work on the business and grow the business. And that's kind of what you're talking about. Like, I don't even, at this point, I hardly ever log into our PSA. Not because I don't want to, because I don't even need to. My team will handle a lot of it. And I luck out. I have an 11-person team, including myself. If I have to have them, like I just got off a call with my team when we were talking about pricing for 2026. And I laid out what I wanted. And I was like, you guys build this and just come back to me and I'll either tweak it or put my approval on it. So like, I'm in a position now where I can like kick that off. But yes, I'm still involved with every little piece, because at the end of the day, it's still my business and it's my name and my head on the chopping block. I'm the one who's coming on to shows like this and doing other things with that sign behind me. If one of my clients, something goes wrong with one of my clients, that name, me, and this name here, there, are the ones that are going to get blasted, not my team. 2 reasons. 1, public figure. 2, I'll protect my team. So
the buck stops here.
The buck stops right here on this desk, So yeah, I have to be involved because if somebody on my team did something without me knowing and then we get bit for it, that's a major problem. So it's just a matter of keeping open communication with our team. We did our first all hands the other week. I flew my team. Most of our team is in Columbia, Missouri. So I flew everyone who was not in Columbia, Missouri down and we spent 2 days with the whole team there. And that was awesome because we got to all be in person. We all got to communicate. We all got to we did some technical sessions. We did some games. We did dinner. We had all this fun, whatever. But it also allowed us all to really get comfortable with calling each other out on some shit that we had to deal with. Like, hey, I've been working on this thing and I needed you for XYZ. I'm right here next to you right now. You have no excuse not to get on Zoom and talk to me. Let's hash this out. And that's, so doing those things help as well. Being in the room. I think COVID changed a lot of things for what we do, for better or worse, but you have to be involved with all of it in some way, shape or form.
So I believe I went down the research rabbit hole. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe 2 things have happened. One, you mentioned the tables have certain edges. Is that what you said?
Squirtles.
So here's some facts for you.
Yeah.
One, the tables at Apple stores have eased edge, softened chamfer, rolled chamfer type edges.
Yeah.
What you're thinking of is a squircle, which is a combination of a square and a circle.
Yeah.
And Apple uses that for the iOS icons.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I knew it was something like that. Squircle.
Yeah. So, but no, so yeah, trust me guys, I've confused a lot of other things before, so this is mild. All right, so then let's talk about onboarding.
Sure.
What do you do that you think is different for onboarding?
Nothing. And I'll tell you why. There shouldn't be anything different. Onboarding a new customer or onboarding a new employee at a customer should be the same for all MSPs. Where we will differentiate is what we can do to make that new customer feel welcome, right? So all of us are going to go and have our customers fill out an onboarding form, and we're going to get our employee list, and we're going to get them set up in our PSA, and we're going to roll out our MDM solution, and those steps are the same for everyone who's listening.
Sure.
Where we'll differentiate and where we try to differentiate and things that we're working on is going above and beyond that with trying to schedule a one-on-one, get to know the team when you come on board, sending a thank you gift, sending birthday notes. Again, this is all part of that unreasonable hospitality thing that I was talking about a minute ago.
Yeah.
Do that. That's what's different. What we're doing doesn't work for everybody. So me telling you what we do doesn't really matter. But I can tell you that we do, when it comes to holidays, as an example, we try to do creative holiday gifts.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of years ago, we did custom wine bottles, where we called them. It was called I Red, and it was from the Virtua Vineyards, and we just found some company that let us stick our label on it. Brought wine to everybody. The year before that, we did custom Legos. We made little Lego minifigs of ourselves and with some printed bricks. Gave those out to clients. And what's cool about that is that, like, you go to a client's office and they're still on the desk.
Yeah.
Things like that. So your onboarding
That's
process
pretty cool.
for any MSP, like I said, should be the same across the board. Everyone should basically do the same stuff, but find those locations where, for lack of a better term, a marketing touch point can be implied. Sending a device that's pre-set up or zero touch setup and with a note card inside for a new employee with, like, hey, welcome to the company. If you ever need us, support at virtualcomputers.com, XOXO Gossip Girl, and slipping that in like a handwritten card inside the box. So when they open the box, that's there and their computer's underneath it. Things like that. That's what's going to make you win.
Okay. Well, so you said you don't change anything on onboarding, but sending out Lego guys and bottles of wine and thank you for joining the team, gifts, like all of that. All of these are special. They are above and beyond. But what I think what's happening is you're saying, as far as like the technical stuff is concerned, as far as the service delivery is concerned, everything's the same.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that it should be that way across the board, right?
Yeah. 100%.
For service delivery, if somebody says I have a problem, you're going to fix the problem, right? Just like any other MSP. But as a way to improve the experience, with Apple, you go to the Apple store, you get maybe 7 inches in the door and somebody says hi and they want to check you in. I assume it's like that in Manhattan, just like it is here in Ohio.
Yeah.
And then they say, okay, I want you to go to this line so you can check in with the appropriate team. And then you go over there and they get you checked in and, oh, good. You've already got an appointment. You're 5 minutes early. Why don't you go have a seat at the Genius Bar? Right. And then somebody comes over. Hey, are you Steve? And what they've done is, for those of you that have never gone to the Apple store, I don't think they take a picture. I think they just put like, Steve's wearing a pink polo shirt and darn it, it's salmon. But so they're going to put something in there. He's got glasses. He's really fat, whatever they put in their notes, they'll do that. So that way, when the Genius Bar person, who's a completely different person, walks over to the bar, they can look at the 7 people that are sitting at the Genius Bar and say, oh, look, pink polo shirt. It's not salmon. And then walk over and, hey, are you Steve? Just to confirm anyway, right? And then they want to, give me the feel goods, right? Hey, what's going on? Show me the problem. They'll take the device, you hang out here, go play on some stuff. And it's great because now I'm surrounded by stuff they want to sell me.
Yeah.
And they've taken my device to this mysterious back room somewhere while they fix it. And then 20 minutes later, they'll return with what I'm told is the same device. I wouldn't know. And it's magically fixed. And, they actually stand there with me and we make sure it's fixed together. I turn it on, I log in, whatever, right? And it's very much a hand-holding experience. And what I found is, like, in the corporate world, even at many MSPs, it's all about how do I maximize productivity and efficiency? And they squeeze all of that feel good out of the service delivery process because they're thinking, oh, he could service 6 more tickets if he just stopped doing this crap,
Brilliant.
So that's
Gary Vaynerchuk said something years ago that's to this point. There's no ROI on a hug, right? Like the feel good part that you're talking about. Yeah. You might not see the ROI on that today, right? Your ticket might take an hour and a half because you spent a half hour talking to them because you heard their dog in the background. And you're like, how's Spot doing? Oh my God, it's so great. Like, have you taught him how to roll over yet? Blah, blah, blah. And maybe instead of taking an hour for your ticket, it took an hour and a half. That extra half hour, there's no ROI on it. You're not billing for that half hour. You were shooting the crap with them, chit-chatting. However, the next time you call or they have an issue, you start with, hey, how's Spot doing? How's my favorite puppy in the background? And then you get into their thing. Every time you do that, you're building karma. And that will allow the client to want to continue to work with you. And that creates stickiness. So the ROI on it is a long-term play. It's the same thing with the hospitality components, right? So to offer a premium service, it's not about the now. And to the point earlier, you said like they're trying to squeeze the most serviceability out of their text. It's the same thing about the race to the bottom. Like, it's not about that. The ones that will exist the best are going to be the ones who can provide the best experience for the customer, no matter what the problem is. If a customer comes to you and says, hey, I'm trying to do X, and you know the answer is just restart it, no one wants to hear that anymore. People are getting tired of turn it on, turn it off. So I don't do this. I know another consultant who does this, where they have a button in their menu bar that says like, it's something like stuck right now, hit this button. And you hit that button, all it does is restart the computer. That's it. Just restarts the computer for the person, right? But like, it makes the user, in this case, feel empowered that they did something. They know it's yours because it's branded with your stuff on top. And you're providing them a better experience, right? And maybe it's not a touch point because you're not involved, but like, that's one less ticket for you to deal with.
But it is an experience piece.
It's an experience for the customer. Yeah.
Yeah. Not every experience has to be hand-holding, right? Some experience could be automation. Yeah. And that's okay.
Not AI, automation. Let's be clear about this, because I don't think AI is a good experience for customers yet.
I think AI is fantastic, but different
show. We'll do that on a different show.
Different show. All right. So I've got a couple more things I want to talk about. For those of you that are still paying attention, which is all of you, right? Why don't you pop in the chat any questions, comments you have, because we do only have like 15 minutes left of this. What I'd like to do now, can you guys give me, raise your hand? If you hit the react button, it's a raise hand. If you're currently a partner of alternative payments, just curious. While they do that, Justin, I'd love if you could tell people why you like working with alternative payments. Just like no more than 3 minutes tops is all I want to spend on this.
Yeah. So the reason we went with AllPay was when we switched from a ticketing platform to a PSA, you guys integrated with it and made it a lot easier for us to do the things that we need to do when it comes to billing. So recurring billing, collections, charging the credit card fee to the customer, which is now the norm, and things like that. Our old billing platform couldn't do that. So that has made it really nice. The other nice thing is that it makes it really easy for our customers to pay. It's one link, it's branded to us. It's smooth and operates very, very easily. And you guys have made some big strides since we started with you guys 2-3 years ago at this point. So like, I'm getting even nowadays, like amazing reporting coming out of it. Which has also been really helpful in like trying to like establish, budgets and things like that as we move forward.
That's fantastic. So if you guys haven't figured it out, Alternative Payments is a payment portal that you can let your clients use. They can sign in, they can view current past invoices, they can set up auto pay, they can update the payment info they have on file. Basically, you empower your clients to pay you quickly. And then our goal is to just help you improve cash flow. And we do that by, have you guys, Justin, you are familiar with DSO, right? Days sales outstanding. No.
No.
Okay. Well, it's an
I'm not,
accounting term.
again, not a very smart person.
It's okay. So you're familiar at least with the fact of like accounts receivable aging, right?
Yeah.
So
How long it takes people to pay us.
Yeah. So that's all days sales outstanding really is. It's just a different way to say it. I'm not sure. I assume that the calculation is slightly different for that versus like something like aging, but really it's just here's how long it takes us to get paid on average. When you look at here's when we issue invoices, here's how long it takes to get paid. And usually like the CFO would probably look at multiple buckets, right? So one, here's just the company as a whole. Our DSO is 37 days, right? And then maybe segments of customers because different reasons he might look at and see what those segments are. So I can tell you that we've helped our clients on average go from about 36 days DSO to about 8 days DSO. So if that's something that interests you, I'm going to pop up a poll. You can let me know yes or no if you're interested, and we're going to literally move on. I'll leave that poll up. You answer at your convenience in the next couple minutes. And yeah. So the next thing I want to talk about, so we talked a little bit about like service delivery. We talked about onboarding. We talked about invoicing. Is there anything outside of alternative payments that you have found improves the invoicing / you getting paid quickly and the customer not being upset that they're giving you all their hard-earned money experience?
The big one for us was when we switched to a PSA. So it was really interesting to me that the Apple world, MDM was a big topic for a very, very long time. And PSAs themselves hadn't like slipped into the Apple consulting world. And at the same time that it kind of did, MDM slipped into the Windows world. Windows people were starting to like Intune was kind of new and people were starting to do that. And it's weird how they crisscrossed. I think every good MSP nowadays has a PSA. And if you don't, you're not a good MSP. And so one of the reasons we went with the PSA in the first place was it was going to lower the amount of time our finance people took to reconcile everything. So now it's just automated. So having that part automated makes a lot of sense. Pull in from our sources, Adigy, Datto, Google, Microsoft, Pax8, whatever, and just slap it on the bill and send it out. If there's something wrong with it, the customer will notice and or we'll just adjust. But like 99.9% of the times it's correct because we're selling them the licenses or we're managing their devices. So that has helped. Once we were able to get the invoicing down, then we worried about the payment side, which is why we went with AllPay. And those two things, came together like Voltron and kind of made billing a lot easier for us. Don't get me wrong. There's people who like opt out of AutoPay through AllPay and use things like Bill.com, and I got to figure out how that works. But for the most part, most of my customers do AllPay. And in fact, to the point where we just kind of said, we don't take checks anymore. And so you can either do ACH through AllPay or you can do credit card through AllPay with the 3%, made it easy for ourselves. This way, the money is just always flowing in. But clients will still complain about it because that's what they do.
What about QBRs? Are you doing anything there?
We're not really, truthfully. I was never a big fan of doing QBRs. I know that's massive on the Windows side. For us, the need for QBR has never really been there because we often are always engaging with customers on that hospitality level that we talked about earlier. So if we're having those kind of constant conversations, sitting down and reviewing everything every quarter is not really necessary. Like we'll have cadence calls, biweekly, monthly, whatever. But I do
Mhm.
believe that the idea of a QBR was for us to go in and say, here's everything you need to replace. And you look at it from a very cold perspective. If you have customers that have been sticky because you're having those good conversations with them on a regular basis about their dog or about what's happening in their family or whatever, the QBR need lessens because they will be open to talking to you more about what's happening in their business at any given time. And, sure, you can generate a report once a month with like, here's all the devices, or here's all the malware we protected, or here's whatever. You don't need to do it in a very structured, like original QBR way. So I think as a whole, QBRs are just morphing into better. If you can morph your QBRs into better conversation and less stoic data points, that would be a lot better than doing it the way that we've like traditionally known how to do it from, the gods of MSPs.
That makes sense. What about offboarding? I would like to think you have not had 100% retention of clients.
Sure.
You've lost somebody at some point.
Yeah. Happens all the time.
What does offboarding look like for you so that way you can still make that a good, positive experience? That way they want to come back.
Yeah. So first, it's a 20-minute cry on that couch. That's why it's there.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm kidding. In the 17 years we've been in business, we have lost customers. I think we've lost maybe 8 or 9 customers that I can think about off the top of my head. Of those 8 or 9, 5 of them went out of business. 2 of them sold, and 2 of them didn't like something we did and fired us. So forgetting those 2, because they're not going to do anything, the ones that have sold, the only thing we can do is leave them on a positive note so they continue talking about us. So making that transition to their new MSP from the bigger company who's buying them, as easy as possible. Actually, we had a call today with a customer. They sold their company to a company in Europe. I'm not legally able to do work for that company in Europe. And so it was very much like, okay, tell me what you need. Let's make this as smooth as possible. It did set me off that the person in Europe didn't know about Migration Wiz, but I digress.
Mm-hmm.
My customer was very happy with how we interacted with the new IT firm and how things are going to go. And no, I'm not going to say this happens all the time. I had a client who sold to another consultant that I know in New York City, and I was kind of an a-hole to him because I was pissed. But there's nothing I can do about it, and that was on me. The fact is like with this particular customer this morning, giving them everything they need, being proactive, thinking about what they're going to need over the next couple of months while they're transitioning out and things like that. Because if that guy ever starts another business or someone else talks to him and says, hey, I got Max, you've done Max, who do I call? He might not be with us anymore, but I want him to remember us, me, and that name right there. So again, it's always those positive interactions, those positive touch points. It sucks when you lose a customer. Nobody likes that, right? I literally typed into ChatGPT the other day. I was like, we're losing a customer. What can we do? And ChatGPT was like, that sucks, bro. And I was like, shut up, robot. Like,
gee, thanks, ChatGPT.
Thanks, man. Like, I didn't already know that.
It gives you all those like those words of affirmation. Like that is normally like my love language, the one I'm looking for, but I don't want it from ChatGPT.
It asked me if I cried on the couch. I'm kidding. It didn't really do that, but like, it's one of those things. Like, it sucks, but it's one of those like, if you can leave them happy, even if they're leaving for whatever reason, maybe they'll come back. Maybe they'll tell somebody about you, maybe whatever. You never want to leave a customer ever with a bad taste in your mouth. And again, let's talk about the karma piece of it. You never know who they know. You never know when they're going to meet someone else. It's one of those things where you need to stay positive. It sucks. It's part of our business. It is what it is.
Well, guys, we've got like less than a minute left. What I'd love to do before we completely wrap, do any of you, the participants, the attendees, do any of you guys have any advice for each other or even for like Justin on how to improve the experience for your clients? I want to see that in the chat. Let me know if you got something. Meanwhile, while you guys are doing that, Justin, let us know what you got going on, man.
Yeah. So a lot of things happening in my world. So yes, I own Virtual Computers. I'm also the host of the All Things MSP podcast. Check that out. Facebook.com/group/All Things MSP. We're all on your favorite podcasting tools. I will actually be speaking at a couple events coming up. I'll be at the ASMC event. I'll be speaking at IT Nation Connect in Orlando on Fear. I'll be speaking at Channel Pro Defend in Irvine coming up the week after in November. So I'll be there. And then I also host a conference that Alternative Payments will be at, which I'm really excited to say, called the ACES Conference. It is all about the business side of IT consulting. And yes, the marketing on that page is geared towards Apple consultants, but PCM MSPs are more, you're going to learn as well. It's marketing, management, sales, client acquisitions, professional development, things like that. It is not technical in any way, shape, or form. We do not allow tech talks. We don't talk about terminal, MDM, Windows patches, none of that stuff. We talk about the things that are going to make your MSP more money. So acesconf.com, ACESCONF.com. We'll be in Minneapolis next May 12th and 13th, I think, in 2026. So check that out.
Awesome.
Or find me on LinkedIn. I'm everywhere.
And you said Minneapolis?
Yeah.
Minnesota. So that's, I got a buddy in Minnesota. That would be a fun trip. I've never been to Minnesota.
Neither have I. You and Nicholas can come hang out with us. And
I'll see what I can do. That sounds like a good time, man. Who wants to see me at ACES convention? Maybe
awesome.
We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, Justin, thank you so much for attending. For those of you watching on YouTube later on, drop a YouTube comment. What do you do to improve your customers, your clients' experience? I want to know, even if it's a year from now in the future, it's going to be relevant forever. So let us know. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching, for attending. We literally have another one of these webinars tomorrow. So if you have time tomorrow at 1 Eastern, come check it out. We've got Terry from Marketopia joining us to teach everyone about some marketing skills. So we'll hopefully catch you there. You all have
Tell them I said hi.
I will. I'll tell Terry you said hey. All right. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.